This is a guide to the iFootage SL1 60DN. I'll go over what's included in the box, how to set it all up, and of course, how to use it. Stick around until the end because I'll go over some bonus accessories you can buy to actually get the softest light possible out of this light. Let's start with what you get in the carrying case. So what I really appreciate is that iFootage gives you this pretty wonderful carrying case for the light. And so you don't have to get an extra one from the store or anything like that. And don't worry, that's just my cat. And so when we open it, the first thing you'll see here is we have the power strip for the light, of course. And then up here, we have an extra spigot for an adapter for the light and an extra Velcro strap, and of course the instruction manual. If we actually remove this now, here's what we'll see under this flap is our actual light, the body of the light, the rest of the power adapter with the actual brick here. And then in here is the light reflector dish, which is, as you can see, a very tiny Bowens mount at the end here. But now that we got the box out of the way, let's actually go and show you how you can set all this up. So of course, for this setup, you're gonna need some sort of a light stand. And you can see here, if this doesn't actually fit your light here, then you would use that spigot adapter and just screw it on, and then you would get this exact same piece here, just without the little twisty top right there. And so, very simple, you're gonna take the body of the light, and you'll see that there's this little hole you just put the thing into. You'll wanna make sure that you unscrew this piece, oops, like that, so that's not blocking the way to get in. And then all you're gonna do is simply tighten that to lock it in place on the light stand. And then you'll see the head just kind of moves freely. This other handle on the other side here is what you'll use to actually, once you want it in the position that you like, tighten it, and it should lock into place just like that. And now, for putting on any sort of adapter here, for example, I'll just be using the provided reflector dish personally. You just want to make sure you're aligning. There's these 3 holes on the ends here with the 3 sort of pins on the reflector itself. And so simply I'm just gonna do that. Once they align, you just turn clockwise and it should lock in place. And now we have the light set up. The last thing we need to really do here is provide power to it. And so to do that, we're just gonna take our power brick here, and you'll see there's a little port for the other end of this cable to plug into. And so I just simply attach the 2. I can hang this brick now off of the light stand here, which I have right here, and I'll be able to plug it into the back of the light here. And so I'll do that now. I put in the DC adapter, and now, only now, do I actually go and plug this into the wall. All right, and finally the fun begins here. Here we're gonna control the light with all its different settings and go over some of the ports. So you can see here, there are actually 2 sources of power you can use, the DC in that they provide, and a USB-C that does power delivery of at least 100 watts. If you don't use the right cable or the adapter, or something that can't actually handle 100 watts for a continuous amount of time, you will not be able to utilize the full output of the light. So just keep that in mind. So let's start by turning this thing on. You'll see here in the middle, there is the on-off switch. To turn it on and off, you just hold this until the lights come on. Now we have 2 dials here, one that reads dim and one that reads set. Obviously, to control the brightness, you would use the dim dial. And so I'm gonna go left here, and you'll see because of the current settings, I'm going by 0.1%, which is a very fine-tuned way of controlling this light. And if you go quick turns, you can go really fast like that. It will jump a lot of percent, so don't only do that if you really want to get to 0 or 100% power. You can also press the dim button to get into the certain preset brightnesses. They go at 20, 40, 60, 80, and of course 100%. And if you do it from here again, you end up back at 0. Now let's go over a little bit of what this menu system is telling us. On the top left here, you actually have the light curve, the dimming curve of the light. And right now it's set to linear. On the top right here, that little fan icon is telling you the fan speed. And when it switches over, it's also showing your ID code. To navigate this menu, we actually use the set dial. And so going left and right goes up and down. And intensity obviously controls the intensity of the light. But when you head into effects, then we can use some custom effects like lightning, flash photography, and so on. Let's actually start by going into the menu. To enter a certain menu, you actually have to press the set dial. Here we have fan set to auto, and you can see here we have the curve, which we can adjust. If we scroll down, you can reset the Bluetooth. You can also set your language, which in my case is English. And you can also restore this to factory settings. If for whatever reason you change some setting and you're not sure how to get back to where you started, you can always just restore it back here. And then you have your firmware version number at the very bottom. Here we can set the fan speed. I have noticed that when it gets to its top speed, it definitely gets pretty loud, but that's only when you have the light at 100% output for a prolonged period of time. But if you really want to play it safe, you can set this to quiet, and that will make sure that the fan doesn't go to that top speed, introducing noise to your scene. I typically leave this at auto, and it's been working fine for me. Now let's exit this menu by holding the set button. And let's explore our effects. I'm going to hit set to enter this menu, and we have 8 special effects. Here we have fireworks, lightning, paparazzi, welding, strobe, explosion, pulsing, faulty bulb, and that is all of them. I'm going to turn on the effect now by using the dimmer here. And just to prevent people from actually strobing out here, I'm going to set this to lightning. But once we've selected the effect we want, we actually hit set again, and we can adjust certain parameters of it. So we have here speed. So how often will the lightning be striking here? That's a little faster, obviously. And you got one where it's going to be a lot slower. Once you're happy with this, you can just tap the set button again, and you'll exit out of that menu. And then you could just use the dimmer dial here to adjust the brightness or even dim it down some more. Now, these special effects are really fun to play with, but for most use cases, I'm actually going to just use its normal function mode here in intensity, which is just normal daylight balance light being shot continuously. Now, a quick note here is you can actually turn off the lamp of the light without turning off the whole light itself simply by tapping the power button. And so this is an easy way to quickly turn on and off the light without having to completely restart the light by holding the power button on and off, which can take a little bit of time. Now I want to talk about the Bluetooth function and the app of this light. So you'll want to head into the App Store and look for Lumin Plus. And once the app downloads, you're going to be asked to create an account. Once you're in the app, you hit Project, and then you'll see the light pop up. Once you select it, the phone should automatically connect. First time you connect to the app and you connect your phone to the light, you may need to update its firmware version, which is just happening right now, as you can see. And so once that's done, we can then control the light via the app wirelessly. Once the firmware is complete, the light actually just restarts, and you'll see on my phone, it automatically disconnects. I'll just simply hold the power button until it turns back on. And now we can go on our phone and reconnect to the light. Once the light has reconnected, we can simply tap it, and we gain all this to controls like we had on the back of the light, but here in the palm of our hand. So we can change the curve of the light. So let's try exponential, and we can increase the intensity, and we'll see how once you get closer to above 50%, it just gets exponentially brighter. I'm gonna set this back to linear and to 10%-ish. And you can see here, it even has some presets we can mess with, like eye comfort. So something that won't hurt someone's eyes. Granted, with the reflector, this would still hurt someone's eyes. And you have standard and bright, which is 100%. The next tab over is our effects tab. And you can see we have the same exact controls of the 8 presets we can choose from and their intensity, as well as the curve here as well. We already went through these, so I won't show them again, but that's just a nice way to quickly control it on your phone. And then lastly, you gain access to music mode, which the app will then ask you, oh, you need to make sure you have access to your microphone, and if you allow it, now based on the sounds like me talking, you can hear or see that the light is now officially adjusting its brightness based on the sounds. This is the only mode that's exclusive to the app. Everything else here in terms of the effect tab and the intensity tab is something you can control natively on your light without the app. Now you can attach a softbox to this light. This one was also provided by iFootage, but you will need this mini bones mount to full bones mount adapter. And so I'm gonna teach you how to put these on now. First off, to actually get this into its proper shape, you just pull all these little wires until they actually click into these spots. And unfortunately, I'm unable to undo it right now. I was just trying for a few minutes, but it's just really solid once you get it in there. Then once all that's placed, you just place these down and the Velcro sort of seals it up for you. And so it's very easy from there. Once we have the actual dish all set up and sprung out like this, you're gonna actually start attaching the different diffusion panels. So you get this small inner circle one that has these locking tabs at the end. And you're just gonna put them on around these little ones you can kind of see here that also do the exact same thing. And so I'm going to do that now. And with that on, we now have our first level of diffusion. Now we'll put the second white disc on here with all the Velcro at the end. But what you want to be aware of here is that this whole corner edge of the softbox is Velcro, and you want to attach it to the lower half, closer to the center of the actual softbox. So we need to actually make sure there's enough Velcro space on here to attach our egg crate onto. And so I'm gonna put this on, as you can see here, as low as I possibly can while still using the Velcro. All right, now we have this. All that's left to do is add our egg crate. And once again, this just uses a Velcro adhesive. And we're gonna stick it onto the remaining Velcro edge here on the light. And now with all of this assembled, we have the softest light possible for our SL60DN. And so let's set this up so we can actually take full advantage of this soft light on our subjects. You can see it's just like the other Bowens mount with the reflector. You have these 3 prongs here that you're simply just going to align to the adapter here. And so I'll show you how that works now. But to do that first, we need to actually remove the reflector dish here. And as you can see, there's this little dial here. Just pull it and this thing just releases just like that. And then all we got to do now is take our beautiful Bowens mount, once again, align the 3 prongs here and turn to lock it in place. Using the actual softbox with this light, I think provides the best quality light, especially if you're gonna be shooting people and subjects, versus using the reflector dish. It's really good for lighting up rooms or providing accent light to your scenes. And here I'll show you exactly how that looks when you set this up as a key light with the softbox. So here is a talking head setup, and currently I have the light off. I have it connected to my phone so I can control it wirelessly. And I'm gonna just set it to eye comfort, which puts it at 66%. And as you can see, I'm already very well lit just from this preset alone. And because we have this beautiful softbox with the egg crate or grid and all the diffusion behind it, it's a very soft, even roll off on my face, and the light doesn't look super harsh and hard like it would with the reflector dish. I think based off of the ambient settings, I would actually put this closer to 30% here, and I think it looks a lot more balanced in the scene. So that's everything you need to know about the iFootage SL1 60DN. This small but powerful light is great for studio work, product videos, shooting interviews, or even as an accent to help light up a room or provide light in your scene. If you have any more questions about this light, leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to help out. A huge thank you to iFootage for providing this light for this guide. If you liked this walkthrough, you can check out my other gear walkthrough videos here. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I appreciate every single one of you who do, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.